This example says, is f of x equals the cube root of x plus 4 a one-to-one function? So let's go ahead and put that into our calculator. And if you go to your y equals and you want to put in the cube root, you can press math and go to the cube root, which is the fourth command. So press 4, and then I'll type in x plus 4. And I'll use my standard window, so I'll press zoom 6. And if we look at our graph, when we apply the vertical line test and the horizontal line test, we see that that is a one-to-one function. Now be careful, because this looks like it's horizontal, but it is increasing bit by bit, and it's also decreasing bit by bit. And also this little area in here at the -4, oops, I wrote on my calculator, it looks like it's vertical, but it is not. It's just very, very close values in there. So this is a one-to-one function. And let's put some points on there. Let's see what we get when we put a -5 in for x. So trace -5, and I get a -1. So I'll plot that point. It looks like -4 is 0, so I'll type that in, -4, and it is -4, 0. And let's do -3. -3 is 1, and you can do any points that you want. Let's do 8. And if I put in an 8, just so I'll be kind of over on the other side, I have about a 2.3. So I'll continue graphing those points, drawing the shape. Kind of got off there a little bit, but there's the shape of my f of x function, which is a one-to-one function. Now let's graph the inverse. So for the inverse, we're going to graph -1, -5, 0, -4, 1, -3, and 2.38. And there's my graph of my inverse function. So the green is the graph of f of x, and the pink graph that I have drawn is the graph of the inverse of f of x. And you'll recall that if we draw the line y equals x, these graphs reflect upon one another. Now let's find the actual function for the inverse. So I will begin with my f of x function. I will replace f of x with y. And these are the same steps we've been doing. I will interchange my x and my y. And then I need to solve this equation for y. So in order to get y by itself, I need to get rid of this cube root symbol. So I'm going to take both terms, or both sides, to the third power. And that gives me x to the third equals, when I take the cube root to the third power, those are inverses of one another. They undo each other. So I just have x to the third equals y plus 4. And if I subtract 4 from both sides, I have x to the third minus 4 equals y. So my inverse function, f of x inverse, is x to the third minus 4. Now, let's go into our y equals and go to the y2 and type in x to the third minus 4 and graph. And you will see the same graph that I have drawn here in pink. And you can even check some of your points. If I do trace, -1, whoops, I got to go on to my other graph. -1, I get -5, and so on. So you have completed this example.